You're live? Okay,
Yes.
great. So, namaskar everybody, and welcome to this webinar, a very special webinar on coding especially at the importance of coding and coding in the early years. We are very, very proud today with the panel that we have with us today. We have adults on the panel, and we also have youngsters and children on the panel. So I'm going to start with our youngest panelist. Her name is Shanaya Chawla, and she is just 11 years old, and she's a student at Jamnabai Nursing School. Welcome, Shanaya. How are you?
Hi, I'm good. How
So
are you?
very well. And looking at you and your cuteness, I'm feeling even better. So our
Thank
next
you.
participant again is a very young child. His name is Ved Kanabar, and he is 13 years old. And
Hi
he is
everyone.
also hello Ved, and Ved is a
Hi.
twin. Yes, so he also has a
Yes,
twin
I'm a
brother.
twin.
Yes,
Yeah.
wonderful. And Ved was the one who sent us a lovely app that he created after the book was launched. Today, of course, we are here to celebrate the book Yash and Yashika
Yeah.
Learn About Coding, published by Scholastic.
Thank you, ma'am.
And Ved, proud to have you here today.
Yeah, thank you, ma'am.
Our next two youngsters who are participating with us are Yash Popat. Yash is the person on whom the character in the book has been named. So Yash is an engineer and he's now doing his management in Spain. And we're very proud to have you here with us.
Hello everyone.
Our next participant, next youngster, is Bharat Sharma, and he's from Delhi. He's also doing his engineering. And Bharat, very proud to have you here with us today.
Hello, ma'am. Thank you very much, ma'am. And hello, everyone.
How sweet, how sweet. And now to the adults. Yes. We have our very own Mr. Neeraj because he is the publisher of the book, and Neeraj Jain heads Scholastic India. Scholastic is the world's largest publisher of children's books. Some of the best books and authors are with Scholastic. So thank you, Neeraj, for being with us on this webinar.
Thank you very much for having me here. It's really so good to be around with kids around. And secondly, now in the
Absolutely.
illustrious list of authors, we have another very good author, Dr. Swati Popat Vats, added on to it with the book Yash and Yashika.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And then we have a coding and a tech genius, Anand Chawla. I think he is one of the best geeks that I know who is a non-geek. And he never ever makes you feel that IT or technology or coding is something to be scared of. He's so helpful. He has written a lot of programs on coding, and I think he's also going to very soon come out with his book. I am going to write a book also with him, so that's going to be my honor. Anand Chawla heads the IT department at Podar Education Network. So, which means there are hundreds of schools where Anand Chawla and his team ensure that the best of 3D printing, coding, technology, etc., is being implemented for children. So, Anand sir, welcome on board.
Thank you, ma'am. Pleasure is mine, and thanks for those kind words. You've been always
Not at
kind.
all. I mean it.
Thank
I
you.
mean it.
Thank
So
you.
let's start
Thank you.
with the young ones. Okay. I am going to start with the same question to all the four children. And sorry to call these two young boys also children. So I will say to the two children and the two young boys. Let's put it like that. Okay. So to the
Okay.
children first, let's start with Shanaya. Shanaya, have you read the book Yash and Yashika Learn About Coding, and what did you like about the book?
I have read the book, and the thing I enjoyed most in it, uh, like it explains the coding in a fun and straightforward way. I also enjoyed all the um, non-screen coding activities throughout the book.
Wow, I love the word that she used, non-screen coding. because that is exactly what this book is trying to prove to adults, teachers, parents, and children, that your first step towards coding need not be on a screen. Because a lot of people, I'm sure Neeraj would agree, a lot of people felt, oh, a coding book for 4-year-olds is going to put them on a screen. So I love that word Shanaya used. So Ved, the question to you, have you read the book and what did you like about the book?
So before answering the question, I want to thank you, Swati ma'am, for selecting me to be a part of this panel.
So sweet.
So ma'am, coming back to the question, I really liked how simple the book was. I remember the part where Yash and Yashika, through clapping, explained the concept of motion sensors, but in such simple words.
How
And the
lovely.
illustrations were also so much fun.
Wow.
And I
I'm so glad. This is validation coming from a child, Neeraj, that the
Yes,
child, even at 13 years old, has not found the book to be wrong or incorrect. And a child who's a budding coder has found so many things to relate to in the book. Very good, Wade. Anything else
exactly.
you would like to add, Wade?
Yeah, actually, based on this book, I created the app because I really liked the book. That's why I decided to create the app on only this book. I've
How
read many
sweet.
books, but I wanted to create on this.
How lovely. That's the biggest compliment. Mwah. And I saw you sent me the app just the next day. So, which means if you are a genius, in just a day, you created something so good. Very
Yeah,
good. Very good.
yeah.
That's
Yes,
really
Because,
tell
nice.
me.
because internet, you can learn anything from the internet. Without classes, I've learned from the internet to create the app.
Yeah, so we won't say that right now because we need schools and we represent schools. So, okay. My question to Bharat now. Bharat, have you read the book and what did you like about it?
Yes, ma'am, I have read the book and I liked it very much. Though it's not meant for my age group, but I really felt curious when I was going through the book. And I liked the thing I liked the most was the flow of knowledge in the book. How the
Wow.
coding concepts was taught in a really systematic way and a really easy way, and doing practical exercises relating coding to your real to day-to-day activities. I think that's the best part of the book. Also, I think this book is a great example of practical learning, which we really need
Uh,
now today in our curriculum.
Very well
And
said.
yeah, and I think the choice of profession of the parents for the parents. Let's make the mother a coder and a father the chef. I like that too.
Wonderful. See, I'm so
So
happy Bharat was able to notice this gender focus on gender balance in the book because it's very important when growing boys are able to notice that a profession is not based on a gender. A profession can be done by anybody. Very well picked out, Bharat. I'm very happy that you noticed that. Yash,
thank you.
Yash, you are the central
Yes,
character in the book. So, have you read the book and
yes,
what
I've
did you
read the
like
book.
about it?
So what I like most about the book is that everything is explained in a very simple manner. It's more like a story and it's fun to learn for kids. So it's not some boring coding language directly being introduced to you. And the complex things like algorithm, sequencing is all explained in a nice story manner. So it's quite easy to understand and it's fun while learning as well.
Wonderful, wonderful. Again, he identified that interesting, hands on, and through a story. So, wonderful. I love those answers. So, I'm going to ask you now the next question is that at what age did you get interested in coding? Shanaya.
I got introduced to coding at the age of 7 years. My dad taught me how to code, but I didn't know that I was coding. My focus was only to create a robot and make it perform tasks.
Uh,
After some time, I understood the meaning of coding.
wow, so 7 years. That's wonderful. Ved, when did you start to learn coding?
So I got into coding when I was 10. So I was selected in a robotics competition to represent Euro School with my teacher Siddharth and research. So I really enjoyed how you can make the robot do anything without any limits, whatever you
Wow.
want. Because most of the time technology has control over us, but coding gives us control over technology.
Ah, so well said
Wow,
by this little boy. Usually,
wow,
technology has control over us, but coding teaches us that we have control over technology. And if you see both these children, 7 and 10 years, they started to learn coding at 7 and 10, and they got interested in it because of robots. And that's exactly what this book has tried to do. Is there is a robot, Mr. Bot, that comes into their life, and then they become more curious about how robot Mr. Bot functions. So, Bharat, at what age did you
Yes,
learn
ma'am.
coding?
Ma'am, actually, I was curious about coding from my childhood only, but I got introduced to it in my 11th grade only when I got coding as my subject. So that's around 16 years of age. So I was not that young, like I have the panelists today, and I feel really elated to have such young coders today with me.
Yes.
And so I was 16 years old, and at that time only, I went very curious with coding, and I did that all day long. I had more important subjects also like physics, chemistry, and maths, but I just kept them aside all day. I was doing coding, and I made coding as my hobby. So
Wow.
now my career is based on coding only.
You have also won some international prize, right,
Yes, ma'am.
Bharat? Can you tell us about
Yes,
that?
yes, ma'am. In my 12th grade, I participated in an Imagine Cup competition by Microsoft, and I made an animation and a game using
Wow.
a software made by Microsoft. So I won first prize at world level in that competition.
Wow.
Yes,
Wow.
ma'am.
So that is this is this generation. They are all about technology, and they actually also experiment with a lot with technology. Whereas our generation is quite fearful of technology, and we take a lot of time to get accustomed to any technology. Very good, Bharat. Congratulations.
Thank you, ma'am.
I mean,
Yash.
also the point,
Yeah.
Swati, is that he started doing coding in grade 11, and at
Yes.
grade 12 level, he already gets an
He
award,
won a
that to
prize.
an international level, right?
Yes.
So that's how
So
quickly they
Yes,
get
ma'am.
on
imagine.
with these things, right?
And imagine these two youngsters, young children who
Yeah,
are sitting with us, how much they were going to achieve.
exactly.
Amazing, really amazing. Yash, what about you? At what age did you get interested in coding?
So I learned coding very recently, in fact, 3 to 4 years ago when I was 21 years old. And I wish that I had learned it earlier with such easy and simple material, which I didn't have access to at that time. And I realized how important is coding because now everything is moving online. We use so much of technology, apps, websites. So it is really essential in our lives these days. So I actually understood the importance quite late, but better late than never.
Wow, that is so amazing. Yash is also an entrepreneur. He's a budding entrepreneur, and he's into the publishing, the printing business, and it's called Marcon. And he has recently designed websites, etc. So Yash is always also very, very engaged in technology. Coming to Anand sir. Anand, so my next question is going to come to you so that we can give these little youngsters a little bit of a break. Tell me, sir, at what age did you get interested in coding and how did you learn coding?
So I learned it I started learning it from 1996. So I think I was in first year, college first year. That time we didn't have computers around. That time we didn't even have internet properly at our homes. So I had joined a private institute, and there was an instant connection with coding. Somehow, I don't know. After the college finishing at about 12, 1 o'clock, I have spent almost 5, 6 hours almost every day just learning how to code because we didn't have books that time. We didn't have internet that time. We had just books around us. To learn from it was very time consuming.
Ah,
Uh, but what I thought was for me, coding was like meditation. I mean, when I
ah,
used to sit, I was on the screen, and I think all the coders would relate with me if they spend a lot of time. So the whole focus was on the machine and solving the problem, and there was restlessness till you were not fulfilling that task. So it was like your whole focus was at one thing, making sure that okay, till I'm not able to solve that issue, I'm going to be awake or just keep working on that. So and today when I look back, it's 22 years. I look back 25, 20 years, more than 20 years now. We are handling 135 schools, 150,000 students, 10,000 teachers, staff members working with us. we're not in office for 3 months and everything is working on. We're almost on an auto mode right now. Though everybody is working hard, but our biggest connect here is the software for all
Absolutely.
of us. So it's been my life. I owe it to coding. So it's all about that. So that was my small journey across. I started, as I said, very early that time. So I was one of the first Sun certified professional in India. I was an Oracle certified professional way back in '99. So it did help me a lot. It did keep me on my toes. So that was my journey.
Wow. And very rightly said, you said a word that coding was like meditation to you.
Yes.
Coding somehow is very good for the brain because the brain requires structure, the brain requires patterns, and coding has both these. And that's why, if you do coding early on with children, their brain understands the structure and patterns required for learning. So, no wonder you found it like meditation. It's so important. And no wonder you have Shanaya and Ved at such an early age, they're able to pick it up so fast. Neeraj, my
Yes.
question to you. Did you know anything about coding before publishing this book?
So I knew about coding before publishing this book, but I didn't know that that will be categorized under coding.
Ah,
Right? So I have done sequencing algorithms and all those things in my life, but not with the machines. Right? The
right.
kind of work that we were in, there was often requirement of doing all those things, but I never knew that it gets categorized under coding. And when we started talking about this book, and when you gave me the first draft of the book, and I saw, oh, these are the things coding. Yes, obviously we can do it with little kids, because as you know, I was skeptical when you said that, let's do a book on coding for young kids. And I was like, young kids? Seriously? Because when you don't know all these things in detail, you tend to associate all the difficult things with coding and not the easier ones, or not the
Absolutely.
ones that you use in routine. Right? A lot of
Absolutely.
these things we use in routine, and that's what you come to know from this book, that in your normal routine, the young kids are doing it. It's only that they are not giving it a label of coding.
Absolutely. Very well said. Very well said, Neeraj. Very well said. So I'm going to ask my next question to Yash and Bharat. That
Yes, ma'am.
do you think that if you had a book like this when you were younger, it would have helped you get a good foundation and a love for coding? My question to Yash first.
Yes, I definitely think such a book would have helped because I never had access to books which were like so interesting and so simple to read and learn. Mostly coding is supposed to be perceived as boring and very tough, and the languages are really dry and not interesting. But with such kinds of books, I'm sure I would have had a wonderful foundation to start coding with. Yeah.
Absolutely. Bharat, what about you? When you were a
Yes, ma'am.
preschooler, would you have?
I
Do you think you would have started off earlier with a book like this?
Yes, definitely, ma'am. I completely agree what yes sir said, and I think that would have helped me to gain my interest in coding much earlier. Like we have the coders in our panelists, those 7 year or 10 year children. I would have gained my interest at that age only, and I think at that tender age, a child wants to learn everything. He sees every profession as his career. So I think having this book at during my childhood would have really helped me to in better judgment for my career, for taking coding as my career. So yeah, every
Wow.
student, every children should have a intuition about coding at that tender age, and I think yes, this book like this, Yash and Yashika, would have really have helped me.
I think at least now it's going to help thousands of children and parents understand that coding is not just jargon. Coding is actually a way of life. And the
Right,
faster people get into it, the better it's going to be for you because the next generation, the whole new normal is going to be about people
different.
who know how to code.
Yes,
That's so
ma'am. Right,
important. So, Ved
yes, ma'am.
and Shanaya, my question is going to come to you now. And my question is different for you. First to Ved. Ved, why do you think there are more boys than girls who are interested in coding?
So I feel both girls and boys are equally interested into coding. But the competitions I have been to, I've seen less girls participating, even though they are interested in coding. But I think that this book would inspire girls also to code and to actually participate. But girls are interested in coding, but they don't participate. Many, I've seen
Um,
many girls.
wow, I like his point of view. He said they know coding, they are interested, but they don't participate. So,
Yeah.
Shanaya, why do you think? Do you think there are more boys and lesser girls when it comes to coding?
Uh, that just like how people relate pink color for a girl and blue color for a boy, in the same manner, they think that girls can't code. My dad made me realize that I can code, and I would like all girls to know that girls can code. And
Wow.
I really want to be a good coder when I grow up.
You will with the foundation that you have. I won't be surprised if you and Ved set up a coding company in the future. Wonderful. So, see, it's a fact that there are very few girls who come into coding because I think, as Wade said, they are afraid to participate. And as Shanaya said, that parents think that coding is not for girls. So, it's actually about parents. The responsibility lies with parents to understand that coding is not difficult. Coding is not something that you should be keeping away from girls, that only boys can do it because it's so important to have girls who code. You know, when I was looking out for a balanced panel, I wrote out on my Facebook page also that can I have girls who code? And I did not get any responses from girls. And then I remembered that Anand sir has a daughter who codes. So here she is, our only female panelist. I hope that the next time we have a panel discussion, we have an all girls panel who code. I really hope that happens. I'm going to go to Anand sir again. Anand sir, tell me, what are your thoughts about this book? And uh, so, as a coding expert, what are your thoughts about this book? And would you recommend it to parents and teachers?
Yeah. So as Shanaya emphasized that the book had a lot of non-coding activities. So basically, there was explanation of concepts, which Mr. Neeraj also said we have heard of those concepts across, but the non-coding activities, the worksheets kind of exercises what you created in midst of the every concept explained, which even a parent who doesn't know coding can actually understand and implement it with the child, because the book is like a storybook, right? Storybook with an activities coming in. So it's not like to read the book you need some expert. Normal parent who doesn't know much about coding can also do it. And if you can read it out at a very young age, if the child goes through this book at a very young age, it becomes easier to relate with coding, because these are the things which you learn when you really start coding, and it would make it easier for a child to really understand. So I just hope that we've got lots such books coming for early childhood in different way, in different kind of an inventive way, like how you've done it. Like I'm sure people have not focused much on early childhood coding concepts yet, and there are companies which are working on it. The products are there, the hardware is there, but we need certain similar, easy to learn books, for children. So I would highly recommend them, to just have a look at it, because she's been reading it to the little one. She's been reading to a 5-year-old. Probably she could share her experience later on. But as I said, the book
Absolutely. I need to ask her.
is easy to understand. So
Absolutely.
highly recommend it.
Absolutely. Wonderful. Neeraj, I hope you were listening because he said we need more books on coding. So, my question to you is, how is the Kindle version of the book doing, and when is the printed version coming out?
So Kindle version of it is doing good. Actually, it is some. I would say it is one of those books which we. It actually is the first book that we released on Kindle prior to the
Oh,
print edition of it, right? Apart from a coronavirus book that we did immediately as the virus came in. So this happens to be one of its kind, and print version is going to be coming in soon. I think it's going into print in a couple of days, so should be out in the market very soon. I was hearing very carefully when he said that there are more books required around coding. But Swati, I thought that our task is cut out right now, in the sense when both Yash and Bharat said that if they saw this kind of book in an early stage, they will probably be they would have been probably interested, or they would have found that they are interested in coding much earlier. And to the point that Shanaya made, that parents feel that coding is for boys, the way you did it, Yash and Yashika together, I think we need to pick up such professions where we tend to feel that kids would understand it much later, but if we can bring them up in book formats to introduce those professions and let the kids explore their interest, I think we need to kind of find more such avenues and do more such books. And if we do such books, then only we are doing justice to what we are supposed to do.
Absolutely, absolutely. Very well said. Because all four of them had a very valid point when it came to their perception of the book. So, coming
Yes.
to you, Shanaya, your daddy tells us that you have been reading this book to your younger brother. Can you tell us more about that?
Yeah, I started reading the book to him, and I really feel that he is enjoying it because he was also asking me questions where he said, he was enjoying the book a lot.
He asked me the question.
Uh,
Algorithm. He asked you
yes,
some.
he asked me what was the algorithm, and I explained to him that it was like a sequence of steps.
Wow.
He also wanted we were reading it in the night, so he also wanted to read more. So
But we said it's time to sleep, so I said, you might as well complete it. And I'd like to add, I think she missed out when we were, going through the algorithm topic in the book. That's where we started teaching both of them about Rubik's cube also. So
Ah,
that's when we realized that it's like a sequence of steps to solve a problem. So that's what they could relate with, real life problem. Uh,
yes.
so, yeah. You have anything to add?
Absolutely. Oh, that's wonderful. And very importantly, I want to also ask you, Shanaya, which is your favorite activity from the book?
um, the non-screen coding activities, those steps, I love doing those. They were really enjoyable.
Wow, lovely, lovely. Wait, tell me something. What did you enjoy? Which activity did you enjoy from the book?
So I enjoyed when Yash and Yashika do clapping one time what the robot does and then two times in what the robot does. Because then it
Uh-huh.
shows that how can we control the robot through clapping, just by clapping.
Absolutely, absolutely. So now I'm going to have a little chill out session where I want each one of you to tell us actually what are you all presently doing and how are you spending your time during this COVID lockdown. So we're going to start with Yash. Yash, you were in Spain enjoying doing your course and you had to be brought back here. What are you doing
Yes.
now and how is your college handling things?
Yeah, so my college handled the lectures really well. As soon as I came back and the campus shut, and we had classes online. So every day I attend 2 to 3 classes online on Zoom. And I also keep myself occupied with the assignments and coursework, which is all moved online. We use Drive to access common documents, and everything is done in a systematic manner. And other than that, I just keep myself occupied with online courses and learning new things, or just reading or working out at home.
Okay, do you cook and clean at home?
Yes, I do. I'm helping my mother in that since everyone is home, so we share the responsibilities.
That's good. That's very good. Bharat, tell us about you. Your college
Yes,
is
ma'am.
also closed.
Yes, ma'am. My college is also shut, and I'm an engineer. So my college are having online lectures, and they are giving us assignments and all. And in my pastime, when I get bored, I just play game or just cook something. And as I told you that I had made coding as my hobby. So if I feel bored, I just grab my laptop and just find a comforting corner in my home and just start coding. So it's about 5 to 10 hours daily. I'm just coding, and I
How
don't
lovely.
want
I love
anyone
the
to
word
disturb
you
me at
use.
that time.
I love the
Yes,
word you use, comforting corner in the house.
comforting corner right now. You actually
Wonderful.
need a particular environment to code. Like the sir said,
Yes,
it's like meditation. So you need an environment for that.
absolutely. You need to concentrate. You need to have a peace of mind when you are doing
Right.
it because you get so connected to it. Absolutely. Wait, tell us
Exactly.
about you. How are you handling your school and what are you doing at home?
So my exam just got over today. So whenever I
Oh,
get time, I complete. I make YouTube videos, motivation YouTube videos on my YouTube channel, and I also code and I also play chess with my dad. Recently, I also have been to a chess competition.
oh wow. So it was an online competition?
Yeah, online.
Chess online. Wow.
Yes.
That's one thing that I have never learned. Chess. I would love to learn chess because the only time I learned it was during management when you are learning how to manage politics and people. Chess helps you in that. But as a game, I've never learned chess and how to play it. So Anand sir, what are you and Shanaya doing? I will come to Shanaya, but first to Anand sir. Anand sir, what are you doing in this whole lockdown? How are you handling your work?
So it's, as I said, I was talking to you before this session also. It's been non-stop work going on, and simultaneously the housework going on, helping wife, mother, children. So it's a total different experience. Never thought something like that will ever happen. So yeah, the children are hovering around. Work is happening. Calls are coming in. There is no day. There is no night. I mean, there is no time limit going on. The best part is you save a lot of time traveling. I mean, I
Yes,
have to travel every day 3 hours. So now I don't know when I start working. Is that how will the mind and the body cope up with those 3 hours traveling now? So I don't know
absolutely.
what kind of shock the brain would have once that starts getting in. We've all started playing a lot of piano. In
Ah,
fact, there is a very good app, Simply Piano app. If you've not seen it, see it. My 5-year-old is doing it without my help to him. So I think it's
wow.
the most amazing tech app I've ever seen. I mean, if someone makes an education system like that app online, I feel children can learn on their own with some help from teachers and all. But yeah, it's like a lot of learning happening. I'm on level. I think I'm on the intermediate level in now in last 3 months. So I'm playing left hand, right hand pianos also right now. So which I didn't know probably without lockdown should have not happened ever. Didn't would have not experimented with it. We play chess a lot, so we try and play chess. We play a lot of board games. She'll tell you what she's been up to, but yeah, it's been very exciting. So there's more things happening than they happen normally. So more there is less monotony, you could say. There's more things happening together. So
Wow.
Shanat, you to say?
Sanaya, what are you
So
doing?
So my school, like they sent videos in April, but they've not sent it yet. So we will have exams from 7 July onwards. And in the lockdown, I've been studying. I played with my brother. I've also done piano, and my dad has also taught me chess. So like I'm still learning it. Um, yeah,
So,
and then I've
Sanaya,
done.
you will learn chess before me.
Ma'am, you're a queen. You learn chess faster than anyone here. So don't worry.
You can learn from Shanaya.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. I think Shanaya will teach me how to play chess. Yeah,
Sure.
it's so sweet. Wait, tell me, sweetheart, what are you doing these days?
Sure. You already asked me.
Did I already ask Wait?
Yes,
Yeah.
you did.
Okay, I'm so sorry about it. Mr. Neeraj, tell me, what are you doing right now?
So I think if I have to look back at my lockdown journey, I've one first thing first, my myth got busted that I can't work from home. I
Ah,
actually could work from home and I could actually be more productive while I was working from home. So I was doing a lot of work. So work was on work front. I think we experimented with a lot of things which in normal circumstances don't do. So we were all pushed out of our comfort zones. We were experimenting a lot of things, and some of them have started giving results to us. So that's on the work front. Apart from that, I was playing a lot with my kids. We used to have 1 hour of cricket because my son is into cricket too much, and keeping him away from cricket was difficult. So we had a very small corner in the colony where we could go and play. So both my kids and me used to go for an hour and play. And as luck would have it, first day there was a complaint against us. And then the president of the society said that, look, this is three people from the family. They are together at home and they're together playing cricket. How can we not say no to them? So our cricket continued. We played a lot of board games. I started cooking a lot. And the best thing was I started doing a lot of walks. So during the peak lockdown period, I was walking somewhere around 12 kilometers every day, both
Ooh.
morning and evening walk put together. I've still carried it on till about 8 to 9 kilometers, and I'm a person who's not regular with anything. What lockdown has done is that I'm regular with my walk. I don't miss my walk for anything. Last but not the least, I'm reading a lot. One thing that I'm doing lesser than my pre-lockdown period is I don't get time to watch television, and
Ah.
I'm not missing it in any way. So when people say that we're watching a lot of Netflix and all those things, I say I somehow don't get time, and I'm also sleeping a lot more. So all good things happening.
That's wonderful. It's very, very important for people who have joined us to understand what Yash and Yamshika is all about. It's about teaching pre-coding skills to children in the age group of 4 to 6 years. And pre-coding skills, if you look at it, are simple skills like patterning, sequencing, looping, and when you read the book, you will realize that these are things that you actually need to do in kindergarten classrooms also. When you do certain songs, you repeat stanzas, and that is like a loop. When you do sequencing with children, with blocks or with games, you are actually laying a foundation for algorithm. So it is very, very important to understand that this coding actually makes you feel that maths is not so difficult. So I want now all my participants to tell me why would you recommend coding to others, and why do you think people should learn coding irrespective of what profession they are in? Let's start with Yash. Yash, why would you recommend coding for everyone?
I would recommend coding to everyone because it teaches people how to think logically, and it also teaches people how to deal with problems. Because many times when we code, we have errors and we have to change our code and accept those errors and get the right solution. So I think it relates to us in real life as well, that many times we have certain roadblocks and how we should move beyond that and correct them.
That is so beautifully said, Yash, especially now when we see a lot of mental health
Right,
issues, when we see people breaking down. I think you have connected coding to life skills because many people only connect coding to maths. You have
right,
actually connected coding to life skills, that it actually teaches you resilience, that it's okay to make mistakes and you can
right,
actually work on undoing those mistakes, right? Very
right,
beautifully
right.
put. Wait, tell me, why do you think everybody should learn coding?
For my generation, like when we grow up, robots and machinery will take up most of the jobs. So the people who know how to program them will obviously be in high demand. So if we learn coding, then it's a win-win situation for us.
How lovely. Absolutely. See, now here is another perspective, that your future jobs, your future world is going to be filled with a lot of robots, a lot of machinery that will require coding. So it is very, very important that if you can have the foundation of it now, it will make life simpler for you later. Very well said. Bharat, why do you think everybody should learn coding?
Now, I think everyone should learn coding, but I won't recommend everyone to take it as a profession because I think that will shoot up the competition in this field. But yeah, they should. But they should take up coding. They should learn coding because coding actually helps in overall development of the person. And I think from my personal experience only, I have a better understanding of the problems, and I think now I can solve my real life problems more systematically. Because like
Ah,
in coding, we have algorithms, we have instructions, so all that is systematic. So I think I am able to cope up with my problems, deal with my problems systematically. It has made me more concentrated also. Like I said, I need a particular environment for that, so it helped me to increase my concentration also. Also, I think interestingly, it helped me be more patient, and I think
ah,
everyone in the panel will agree with it. because coding is like a process. It consists of two steps. It includes coding and debugging. Coding and debugging, and sometimes it takes hours, or it sometimes it may take even days. So you need to be patient. You have to debug your code. You have to code it again. So I think that really helped me to become more patient, more determined, and it helped me in my overall personality development also. So yeah, everyone should learn today.
Absolutely. When parents grumble about their children not having focus, or they grumble about children not being able to concentrate, or they grumble about how their children give up easily, I think these parents and teachers should be listening to what Bharat and Yash have just said, that coding is not just maths, coding is not just doing things with machines. Coding is actually developing your own innate skills, which are so required in life and learning. So, Shanaya, why do you think everybody should code?
I enjoy coding as it has improved my thinking skills and creativity. So it's just like bringing alive an idea of your own. So
Ah,
I feel that everyone should learn how to code, and I also get like excited when I code. So because when you create something, you can code it to do many different things. Like um, you can, if you create a car, you can make it move, and then um, like go fast or go slow, change the color. All of that can be done if you know how to code.
wow. I love two things that she said. She said it helps me in my thinking and creativity. I think that today's education system is going through an overhaul. What Shanaya has said makes complete sense, to have an activity that both teaches children cognitively and creatively, so that the creative aspect is not always left behind. And I think that is why many of the minds love coding, because it gives them the pleasure of both, the pleasure of being a thinker and the pleasure of being a more creative person. And another thing which he said, which I loved, is that instead of just consuming, we create. So that is so wonderful. Ved, why do you think everybody should code?
Now I just answered.
Very
Did he
simple.
answer?
Yes, he did.
Yeah.
Yes.
Why am I
Yeah,
always forgetting that Ved has answered?
I think you're considering him as like twins, and you're asking him twice.
Okay, okay. I come to Anand, sir. Sir, what is your advice to parents and teachers about teaching coding to children, especially young children?
So, what I understand is a lot of parents don't like to hear word coding. I don't know for what
Yeah.
reason, but they don't understand. Like it's like with coding there is no instant gratification, right?
Uh-huh.
So with children there is instant gratification sometimes. With coding it is not. It is brutal, right? It makes you do it again and again and again and again till you actually solve that problem. They don't understand that the life is that way, right? A life is full of problems. We solve one, then you have little shanti there, then again you got second problem coming in. At a young age, if you don't learn how to solve them, I mean, your mind has to be that strong to solve those problems. And I feel they all have to understand that with coding, it's just not coding. They not necessarily they should become programmers, right? But what it lets them do is it lets them improve their very those critical thinking skills. Children have very high critical thinking skills. You'll agree with me. You work with small children all the time. Somehow parents curb it a lot, right? Whole day the children are following the instructions from parents, right? But when they are actually coding, when they are in that, when they are working on robots, they are under control, they are taking decisions, they are working as a team, collaborating, So all these aspects, creativity, like how Shanaya said, imagining, bringing ideas to life. So these are all terms, even if you don't become a coder, but these are very important aspects in your life because of the situation, there are a lot of significant change in professions are going to happen very soon, or they already started happening. So such skills are needed to improve yourself upon. So I feel it's very important parents teach children to code at a very young age. In fact, substitute it for a time spent on YouTube or those
Yeah.
videos or they play, or be like Ved who's creating his own games rather playing somebody else's game. So there's more fun in doing that. And as I said, it's brutal. It can test you to the core of your brain. It can train your brain, your left and the right brain, like how you always mention. That can only happen with a lot of back and forth happening, which happens with coding, right? Your code is never right the first time. It never happens. Even the world's best coder will keep failing again and again. So it teaches you that how do you fail and how do you actually get back again, be successful, at one point of time in life. So that is what my advice would be. It is important. Everybody should learn how to code. Whether you're good or bad at it doesn't matter. So
Absolutely. So well said, Anand sir. Because if you were to imagine any profession, you will realize that these basic skills required in coding are being used in all professions. They may not be making a code, but all
yes,
these things like algorithm, they are actually doing their work in a particular manner, in a particular pace. So it is going to help you in any profession. I think what it teaches, and which is what I have said in the book also, it teaches the brain how to learn rather than what to learn. And I think our education system has been focused for so long on teaching children what to learn the ABCs, learn the numbers, learn the state capitals, learn the country capitals. But we are not teaching them the how to learn bit, that how I should use my brain, how I should overcome challenges, obstacles. In fact, Anand sir, I owe a lot to you, because whenever you introduce something for grade one, I am always, my thinking starts getting into gear, that learning cannot start at age 6. So if Anand sir has started something for 6-year-olds, there must definitely be a pre-foundation to this in the early years.
yes,
And then that
yes,
goads me into starting it for the early years also. And that is how coding actually in early years started, because you started it for grade 3, I think. And I
yes,
said, I can't send you children who don't have the pre foundation for it.
yes,
So it is
correct.
very, very important to acknowledge this, that you goad us a lot and keep goading us all the time, because that's so necessary. Neeraj, my
Likewise.
question to you, you are, Scholastic is the world's largest storybook publishing house. Okay, for y'all to publish a book on coding, which is also story based, I am sure that was a deviation from the usual norm of the kind of books that y'all publish. And then y'all published it for the first time on Kindle. Now, are you planning to publish any more books on coding?
Definitely one more is already in the making, as you know. You are going to do another version of it, so that's going to come in. And while we are the world's largest children book publishers and we do all the reading books, and I also categorize this as partially reading and partially coding, but we also do a lot on the education front. And as I was sharing with you, we're currently exploring something on the coding side, which would be a going forward from here where we are, 4 to 6 year olds, then 6 to 8 years old, which is another book. And then that's going to be a platform based solution where the schools can use it and bring in coding. So our journey doesn't stop. For us, what is important is the kids have to be learning the right thing. We always believe reading does it to them. And if through reading we can introduce such beautiful concepts to them, why not? No deviation at all good.
Absolutely.
Anything that can make children learn.
I think this book is a very good combination of reading and
Yes.
learning a new skill, which
Exactly.
rarely happens in a storybook. So
Yes.
that is why this book is a very good combination. That's why it's called also Story Witty. And
Yeah.
to all the listeners, I must tell you that our 493 schools, pan India, have used this book as a curriculum for coding, and we have used it right from 2-year-old onwards, and it has worked brilliantly. The parents that have sent us feedback on it, amazing, even from the tier 3 cities and towns like Nandurbar, Jalna, all these places. We've had amazing feedback from parents that my child has become a thinker. My child loves to do these games. And this is has been the response, and that's why I'm so happy that Scholastic published this book, so that schools who are looking for a curriculum on coding, especially in early years, this book is a very good foundation for that because it will start you off on having your own curriculum. Meanwhile, Podar has already started working on a new curriculum, and that is going to be rolled out in our schools from next year. Even now, when children are at home, we are keeping on sending coding activities to them. They are in the form of games, and children are having fun sitting at home doing those exercises. And parents get that pleasure of knowing that, oh, my child is learning coding. So it is very, very important to understand that this is the future, and this is something that we should not keep preschoolers away from. Everything, of course, should be age and developmentally appropriate, but this is the need of the day, and we should all have it. Now we are running out of time, so I'm going to ask each panelist to say the last few words that they would like to say on the panel, either about the book or about themselves or about coding or any advice that they would like to give to the listeners. So we'll start with Shanaya.
The book was really good. It was a lot of fun, and there were I had fun also solving the activities. I also like
It's okay. So you like the book and you will tell everybody to get the book?
yes. And yesterday I also asked my dad whether the book was going to get printed or not. So he said that yes, it was going to get printed because like the book is really um,
Yes.
yeah,
Absolutely.
interesting.
Neeraj, I hope you're listening. She's asking for the
Yes,
printed book.
exactly. Soon it will be there, and you will be the first one to get to know of it.
How sweet. How sweet. Ved, tell
You
me, what is your last advice or any point that you would like to say to all of us?
Swati ma'am, I'm always inspired by you. By your book, I created an app. So after this panel, I'm going to create a video on this panel. What did I learn from a panel? So this is
Oh,
my
wow.
first time being on a panel.
How lovely. And next time, you know what we are going to do? We are going to bring both you brothers on a panel with your
Yeah,
mother.
I would love that also. And
How
on the ending note, I would like to say coding can change the world.
Wow, very well said. Coding can change the world. Absolutely, it
Right.
can. I think what Corona has taught us is that it's high time we coded our lives differently so that we don't destroy the world and we learn how to live simply, healthily, and safely. Right, Wade?
Yeah, totally.
Absolutely. So this time I'm not going to come back to you. I'm going to remember that I have already come to Wade.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go to Yash. Yash, what are your last words about the book or about coding in general?
Yeah, so I feel with the digital transformation taking place throughout the world, coding is very essential and it teaches us problem solving, logical thinking, as well as how it not only teaches us how things work, but also how to create things that work. So it's a very important aspect of coding that we learn how things work, but also how to make something which actually works. And this is really relevant in today's times, considering that everything has moved online and app based. So I feel it's really, really important and an essential life skill.
Absolutely. Very well said. Bharat, what about you?
Yes, ma'am. I think I will really recommend this book for all the childrens out there because it will help them get an intuition into it. And I think I will recommend this for parents also who are from a different profession and want to learn, how is this coding and the basics of coding, because I think it helps in the overall personality development. So it's good for both the children and for the parents also if they want to get an intuition into it. And I think the girls have to be motivated because I think there's a problem with the way the passion of a girl and a boy is seen. If a boy's passion is taken seriously and is considered to be his career, and similarly, girls' passion should also be motivated. Because I think like I'm an engineer, and if I see the ratio of boys and girls, it's really really bad. Though it's improving with years, but it's really bad today also. So I think girls should also be motivated at that young age also, and with the help of this book I think we can help them.
Very, very beautiful, brilliant point made both by Yash and Bharat that life skills and gender equality is so important that we promote it. I think it's thankfully Shanaya was there on this panel. Otherwise, imagine the embarrassment that everybody was male and we were talking
Right.
about coding. And it is so amazing that Ved was able to connect the book to his work. So I think what is required is to expose children to the right resources at the right time and to give them the freedom to explore. You know, today children are growing up with so many robots around them without them realizing that they are robots. You have Siri on the phone, you have Alexa at home, you have machines that work at your sound, etc. And without realizing it, robots are around us. And thankfully, during the COVID period, we also now have robot vacuum cleaners. So there are robots constantly around us. This book is trying to teach children to live in a digital world, to live in a technology world without losing their human touch, and to understand that machines should not control us, but we, as Shanaya rightly said, that we have the power to control machines. So, to all the parents out there who are afraid about screen time and their children getting addicted to screens, very important that they take their inspiration from Ved, Shanaya, Bharat, and Yash. Here are children of different age groups, very much involved with technology, but not addicted to technology because they have been brought up with a sense of technology, that technology is here to contribute to your life and you cannot get addicted to something if you understand it properly. So that's a message that the book is also trying to give. And I must thank Neeraj and Scholastic for publishing this book. It's India's first experience of thinking about coding for children, and the first experience of India to understand that Yash and Yashika both can learn coding and both should learn coding if we want our country to prosper and really be there on the world stage. So, Anand sir, what would you like to say?
So just very small point. I think we're almost running short. Is that what parents should do is, as I said, they are always worried about the screen time. So always start slow. Start once in a week. I'm not saying do it every day. Like we used to do like 5, 5, 6 hours, but we were quite older. And compensate with some other screen time because they're spending a lot of time on the devices learning online right now. So start slow and gradually see the interest of the child. He may, because till you don't let a child use it, you don't know what's his interest, right? So you can't decide without showing him what is coding whether he likes it or not. Especially girls, I mean, I would encourage all of them to at least give them some introduction to it. It's treated like any other art or a chess or a dance class, basic thought process, and start it there, and things will flow after that. Gradually.
Wonderful.
Thank
Wonderful.
you.
I really love that. That just like you put your children into a dance class, dance is also new to them. You teach them piano or you teach them ballet. That's also something new to them. So why not coding? Why are we so against introducing coding in children's lives? Very well put. Neeraj, what are your last words to the audience?
So my last words to all the parents there. This book actually tells you that coding is there in everyday life, right? We like it, we don't like it, we are using it. Without the terminology, coding is there in everything that we do. It's all about knowing it that it's coding. That's one part of it. Second, I think this book also does another thing is it begins on coding without getting to technology.
Yes.
And we all have realized during this COVID time, technology is there to stay, it's there to help us. It's not there to kind of do anything else, but it's going to make our lives easier. So introduce coding to your kids through this book because it's without screen, it's without technology. And if they like it, as the mother in the book is a coder, that very well puts that point across that anybody can be coder. It has got nothing to do with gender. As it is nowadays, there's nothing kind of a thing left which is gender stereotype. Anything each one of us can do, each one of us can cook, each one of us can do coding. Go with that
Absolutely.
mindset, raise your kids, same.
I think on a lighter note, I would like to say that in the COVID time, men learned how to cook.
Yep.
So it's very important that now in the COVID time only, females learn how to code. So then that would be a very good balance that we have brought in, that
Well,
everybody can do anything and everybody should do everything. So I would like to thank the listeners. If you are interested in the book Yash and Yashika Learn About Coding, it's available on Amazon Kindle. Around by the end of this month or early next month, the printed version will also be available on Amazon and in bookstores. And I would really urge you to pick up a copy, not because I have written the book, not because Scholastic has published it, but because, as Ved, Shanaya, Bharat, and Yash said, the benefits of learning to code far exceed your normal everyday learning that you have to do as part of your academics. It prepares you for life, it prepares you for living, and it prepares you for learning. So it's a very important tool, a very important skill that I feel parents and teachers must teach to children, and especially children in early years will enjoy it because it's based on games and activities that they do in their everyday life. So if you see the book, it has activities of sequencing of going to bed. If you see there is an activity of making a sandwich. If you see in finding a debug activity, finding a mistake or finding what was the fault, you have Jack and Jill and why did they fall down? So you have to find where the bug was, that why did they fall down? They tripped on a stone and that's why they fell down. So it is really making children into thinkers, and it is making children create. It is making children creative, as Shanaya said, life skills, as Yash said, and it is giving children a new way of looking at things like Ved said. And as Bharat said, it's also helping children understand that professions can be of every gender. So I thank all the panelists. I thank you, Anand sir, and I
thank you.
thank you for bringing Shanaya with you. I thank Neeraj both for publishing the book and for being on this webinar. I thank Bharat for joining us from Delhi. I thank
Thank you.
Ved for joining us and for for that lovely app that he made on the book and sent to me. And the Ved, keep doing great work. You and your brother are both very impressive, and I'm always grateful to your mother for introducing your work to me. And Yash, keep doing the lovely inspirational work that you do. And I'm sure all of you will become great advocates of telling others not only to code, but telling others that coding in early years is also impactful. So thank you, everybody. Thank you for being here with
Thank
us
you so much.
today. The
Thank you.
recording
Thank
is
you.
available on Facebook. We will send you a link and you can share it with your friends and family. And let's code.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Okay.
Thank you very
Thank you
much.
very much. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.